Have you ever witnessed a piece of art that connects so profoundly with the human condition that you can't help but let its inspiration affect you for days or weeks or months or years? Like you somehow feel like a better person for having experienced that artistic expression. For myself, and I'm sure countless others, that is the reality of a large portion of how Studio Ghibli films have affected people. From the storytelling to the themes and world building to the animation and art and the scores and soundtracks to countless other elements, these works of art have engrossed fans for almost 4 decades at this point. And maybe that includes you. So as a fellow fan, I do have to ask, have you ever sat down to experience this art with its delicate understanding of emotions, its vulnerable personifications of society and how that interlays with nature, its divine respect for tradition, art, and growth, and thought, God, I wish this was a horror movie? Or is that just, I think that's probably just me. That was my thought process when I started this sketch. It's been on my computer for a few months at this point. I come back to it on and off. It's even been featured in some of my old videos. It is a piece that is perfect to be represented in the style, or a style inspired by Studio Ghibli. But that's not really my style. If you look at some of my past work and even some of my specific pieces, there are obvious inspirations that come from Studio Ghibli. And it's no surprise. I've been a fan of Studio Ghibli movies since, honestly, as long as I can remember. Princess Mononoke was my favorite movie as a child. I thought it'd be fun to transform this idea, this sketch that I've built, into what if Studio Ghibli was a horror film? Because it's no secret that a lot of my art is horrible. I have a lot of horror and creepy parts of my art, and representing that in the style of Studio Ghibli sounds like a fun project. There's only one big, massive problem, and that's okay, so over the last few days, I've looked into some resources to take a deeper dive into Ghibli backgrounds, environment backgrounds in general. I used a couple of YouTube tutorials to kind of get started with the idea of digital painting, because digital painting is something that I've pretty much never actually done. They didn't end up being as useful as I had hoped, and that's no shade to the tutorials. I think they are super useful, especially if you're just getting into digital painting, but just for the specificity.
Specificity.
Ghibli style backgrounds. Hello, Aiko, welcome to the video. Oh my god, her butt. Don't look at her butt, you weirdos. Where was I? What am I saying? The uniqueness of the goal that I'm pursuing definitely made it not fit perfectly, so there's still a few gaps. To fill these gaps, I used a couple physical books that I actually own. The first one here, Hayao Miyazaki. This book was definitely the most useful one in my tool set. There's a lot of really good concept art, but additionally, it gets really into the philosophy of Miyazaki, which is super important to me specifically, because I'm trying to capture that childlike wonder of a Ghibli film, obviously mixed with more sinister elements. So it was really important to understand the philosophy behind how Miyazaki builds his worlds. The second book was Color and Light by James Gurney, also super useful. I actually was not that familiar with James Gurney's work, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it is stunning. Just a huge breadth of information in this book. All in all, the process was super helpful in how I approached digital painting, and it culminated in a study of a Studio Ghibli background from Spirited Away. And like, it's passable, it's okay. I'm not, over the moon about it, but I did do it in about, I think, 45 minutes. So obviously the background of this actual piece that I'm gonna be working on, I'll have a lot more time. Now, with all that said, should I spend more time going through tutorials, doing some studies of more backgrounds, understanding digital painting more? Absolutely. But I'm a dumbass. I'm like a big, dumb guy. I'm dumb. If you're an artist yourself, I'm sure you're familiar that motivation is not something that you can squander. I'm just super excited for this piece. I don't want to keep putting it off and lose my motivation. Without further ado, let's get started. And with that, the character is done. I think this character you could see fitting into a Studio Ghibli world, and I'm like ecstatic. I'm super proud of how this is coming along. But we can't put off what I have been putting off for so long any longer, and that's the background. It's time to do a Studio Ghibli inspired digital painted background. Wish me luck. Let's get into it. Whoop-ha! Shebang! Ladies and gentlemen, we have finally completed the Studio Ghibli inspired art piece. It took so long, but it's done. Can we go to live footage of me the moment I completed the art piece, please? Even though it took way longer than expected, I think the final product speaks for itself. It's one of my favorite pieces I've ever done. And I've actually said that a few times on the channel now. I think this whole YouTube thing is inspiring me to take risks and stuff I never had before, and I think it's paying off artistically for me personally. So let's cut to some close-ups in the final picture now. You know, it came together really, really well in my opinion. The painted background was, I'm not gonna lie, truly a bitch to complete, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the process of it, even though it was grueling and my hand literally hurts from doing it. So, you know, I could have taken the quote-unquote easy way and used pre-defined brushes, and that's totally fine to do, obviously, but I really wanted to have the full sadistic experience of painting every brushstroke like it was an actual canvas. I think that there's definitely some things I could improve on. The readability of the color values, I think, could use some work. It's a very dark picture. Trying to find those color values in a way that's readable for the whole image in a nighttime picture painted in a process that's new to me was definitely difficult. I just finished, I don't know, an hour ago, and I'm just exhausted. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. I might do some small tweaks. I think it's important as, I don't know why I'm doing the Obama point. I think it's important as artists to kind of sleep on your work before you fully post it. I think it's good to let your unconscious mind kind of go through the art. I really had a blast doing this. It was difficult, it was challenging, and I feel like I've grown as an artist because of it. I do want to apologize for how long it has been without a video. It's like a month or 5 weeks at this point. In order to tackle that in the future, I have a list of all my video ideas on my computer. I'm going to start tagging them with shorter video ideas and longer ones so I can fit in ones in between these longer projects so that it's not such a gap. I think that's everything. It was, like I said, it was an absolute blast to do. If you have suggestions for videos, please leave comments down below. Let me know. If you want me to do another Studio Ghibli inspired piece, I can definitely do that as well. Maybe like a less horror-esque one and down a different avenue. All the links to everything down below. Thanks to all the music and all the resources and stuff. That will be all linked below as well. If you've made it this far, honestly, thank you so much. Consider liking and subscribing. It really does help the channel and these videos a lot. With all that said, I really do hope you enjoyed the video. I think that's gonna wrap it up. Stay a stranger, stay my friend.